All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth. Hour with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon said YouTube page, the dynamic page. Y'all know what it is. Black Power, Black Frequency. You're feeling that frequency and energy. You should most definitely join. Link right down in the video description. Click that link. You get a video introduction rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank top, hoodies for the kings, queens, and the children, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for you, family. Believe it. I got something nice for you. Get over there, check out the catalog, get you something nice. 25% off selected items at this time. Shop and save, save and shop. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University. We're talking about over 1,500 videos, nothing but heat. It's all we spit over here, nigga. Flamethrower. You see the flamethrower, General SETI, baby. You understand what I'm saying? And you already know this one video right here gonna set your soul on fire. You already know what 1,500 gonna do in over 35 different subjects, over 35. So plus we got the master, grandmaster teachers, the monumental, supplemental, instrumental research material of the grandmasters, documentaries, lectures, handpicked by the general. There's not another website on the planet that can compare. Get over there today and advance your mind and your spirit. That's right, family. Everybody knows SETI popping on Patreon. BPC making noise. We never calm. We always making noise for revolution and uprising and liberation. You feel me? So, yeah, we got over 500 exclusive live streams, never to be seen on any other platform. We know you want to get your hands on it. I know you do. So get over there, become a patron and get access and get a chance to see the general live. That's what it's all about. All the family out there donate to the general. I thank you. I appreciate the fact you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate to the general, the link is right down in the video description. Is in the chat. Click it, donate. Hard work we do over here. Very dangerous work we do over here. We do it anyway. And so, family, donate. I thank you ahead of time. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King SETI, General SETI, Sarah Soon SETI. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, I know it's going to be a hot topic. I know it is. And I'm going to, I'm going to be, I'm gonna be on that chat and I'm gonna tell you, yeah, but if it ain't, hey, if a motherfucker get out of line, that's let me dig on his ass first. Don't give me an opportunity unless they just all the way out of pocket. Now if they all the way out of pocket, yeah, I want to, if they get out of line, I want to drag me a motherfucker first. You know what I'm saying? I want to drag me a motherfucker first. Then we'll get his ass up out of there. That's that good ice water too. Yeah, that's that good ice water. I say, let me go and put me some ice water in there today. Yeah. Don't let him, don't let the nigga get away without me getting getting on his ass. Let me make sure I clean this up right quick. All right. So we talking about, did the Nation of Islam have a hit list with the names of Malcolm, Khalid, and Clarence 13X on it? We got to talk about that today. And this is very serious. This is not, you know what I'm saying? This is very, very serious of what we talking about here today. You know, when you think about the Nation of Islam, and supposedly being this so-called dynamic institution for black people. And the ideology that the white man is the devil. That the white man is the devil. Yet the only people that you've been known, you see, to have, physically, when we say we do battle with the devil, the only people that the Nation of Islam been accredited in battling is their own people. You see, for somebody to say that the white man is the devil, that's a hell of a statement to make. That shows that you feel you're very stern about your belief in what he is. And if he is that, then that is the arch enemy. We should have a list of those devils that, understand what I'm saying, and been checked, you understand, and been, isolated in all of this. But where's that list? We don't see that list. I'm having problems. You see, I'm having problems believing anything that these niggas is talking about. Okay? Let me make sure this is, hold on, fam. Let me tighten this just a little bit. Let me see how that looks. Okay, that's a little bit better. Having problems. You see, you say, where the list? Yeah, they don't have no list when it comes to no Cro-Magnon Neanderthal. Ain't no goddamn, no list. No list. No list whatsoever. Anybody, especially if they're on the inside, then been on the inside and know they dirt. You see, then they on the list for eradication. That's just the way it is. Nothing healthy has ever came from somebody that really, was high up on, and knew the inner workings of the Nation of Islam and fared well after leaving. Just did not happen. Just did not happen. Nah, see, the thing I'm having a problem with, I don't give a, see, and people know me, I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I call it just like I see it. Okay? I don't need no motherfucker to explain shit to me. Okay? Don't come explain a motherfucking thing to me. You see? I see this shit for myself. Motherfucker play me like, the way I see the brothers being played, motherfucker, try it if you feel like it. You won't be able to use that motherfucking excuse. You can tell it to the motherfucker you meet at the gates of hell. You can tell it to them, but you won't be able to explain it to me. You see? Explain that shit on your way down there to see Lucifer. Because that's where you on your way to, you got you a one-way motherfucking ticket. You understand what I'm saying? Complimentary on your motherfucking way. When we think about the hypocrisy of these people, Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called The Fall of America. I say, damn, the fall of America. But he silenced Malcolm X for talking about JFK. I said, well, when the motherfucker get to falling, you should rejoice. You teaching the fall of America. The white man is the devil. And then when Malcolm spit on the devil, then you silence him. But see, Malcolm said that was some shit that they used because they already knew, he knew what was going on behind the scenes. And so they used that as a means to, to get rid of him, to get rid of him. But at the same time, Malcolm knew too much. And he was too dynamic. You see, not only did he know too much, he was too dynamic that they did not have nobody. You understand what I'm saying? That could compare, to his depth of knowledge. You see, his charisma, his didn't even, nobody even to this day even could believe that Malcolm had a bad bone in his body. You see, he was so adamant about the liberation of his people. He was so adamant about it. You see, nobody else, everybody else had ego. Malcolm didn't have that ego. You see, he was adamant about the freedom of his people. And so, so understanding his natural born ability, and then we have to also deal with the fact that a lot of people don't talk about is that Malcolm's father was a Garveyite. You see? So you have to understand that Malcolm X and his family was raised up on Marcus Garvey. A lot of people just don't emphasize that. So when they get to the part where Malcolm X in the message of the grassroots, and this was already seeded in Malcolm. He didn't get to, now a lot of people go astray. Yeah, they go astray. They lose their path. And Malcolm, had lost his path. But the seed was there. And so, yes, when he got with the Nation of Islam, in his mind, he was working towards what his spirit was, had, eventually would lead him down the right path. He was waiting on that. Was in, so they met at the time and of in existence where these two men would come together and they would establish the Nation of Islam. And Malcolm was just as integral a part of building the Nation of Islam as Elijah Muhammad. Let's be clear about that. You see, it was, no matter what they say about Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X was the ground runner. He was the one that hit that ground and went out there and established the mosque all over the United States. You see, he was the dynamic speaker, yes, but he was the dynamic speaker. You know what I'm saying? The national spokesman. You see, that could galvanize minds, get out there on that street, talk to them. You got to be the right kind of individual that can get out there live. You see what I'm saying? And work the streets. You understand what I'm saying? And get them to come on in. You see? And so he did that. No other member of the Nation of Islam could do that. They couldn't have did it. Didn't do it. Even after him, there was not one that could rise to the occasion, you see, and do what he did. You see, no, they couldn't have done it. And so, nevertheless, this is how history records it anyway. He was the one. And so we have to understand that he was just as much an integral part of building the Nation of Islam as Elijah Muhammad. But when you hear Malcolm X talking about Black power and establishing a community. And so that was Marcus Garvey. That was Marcus Garvey. Okay? Let's be clear about that. He was the first one that established the largest Black organization in the Western Hemisphere. So, nobody gonna make me believe that you see Marcus Garvey with his followers marching in Harlem, and you understand what I'm saying, in uniforms, and even when you look at even how the sisters dress, very similar in many ways on how they try to duplicate, which is, who wouldn't do it? Okay, so we're not going to say because you that's what you're supposed to do. You see, when you see one of your great ones, you gonna bow, you gonna admire, and so we have no problems in that. But we're not gonna negate the fact of where he got it from. Okay, he didn't get all of that from no Elijah Muhammad. Stop lying. We must stop lying. So a lot of that was what his father had instilled in him from, from his youth, raising up. Now, what I'm gonna say is this. I know a lot of people out there talking about, and we did hear from that there are two security guards of Malcolm that were detained previous to his meeting, his teaching at the Audubon Ballroom, that they were detained a week before that. Listen, all of these people is in cahoots. You see, there's no way that, we understand the devil. Okay? We don't need nobody to stress the devil and his participation in the demise of all our leaders. You see? But that's just like when you read the story of Jesus, not to justify, but it was Judas that led the Roman guards and to Jesus. You see, they were in cahoots. They were in cahoots. You see, they all had something to gain from the death of Malcolm. But Malcolm was clearly saying even before then, that he understood that, that these was the enemy. He was having run-ins with these people. They talking frivolous about Malcolm X, as they did with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. You see, they did the same thing. I don't believe nothing that they talk or teach is garbage. It's garbage. You see, I don't believe nothing, none of it. You're not going to tell me you're going to silence. See, because the thing is, ultimately, it's about getting our people up from out of the trenches of misery and shit. That's ultimately what it's about. And when you got great men like Malcolm and Khalid Abdul Muhammad, who are prolific ground runners, you see, you give them that ball and they can get yards. You don't get that from everybody. You can't take them off. And that don't mean that, it's always rank and file. If you in an organization, it's rank and file. You want to do your own thing, you can do your own thing if that's what you want to do. And but ultimately, you see, your ground runner, unless they didn't totally step out of, the rules and regulations, you got to get them back on the battlefield. You don't take them off the field like that. You see, you don't take them off the field like that. See, the thing is they thought that they would hurt the image of Malcolm X, or that they would hurt the image of Khalid Muhammad, and that they were more loved almost in death than as they were when they were alive, that the legacy even grew even more profoundly after their death. You see? And people still today will not believe the lies, that been taught about Khalid and taught about Malcolm. Now I brought even Clarence 13X in because suspiciously he came up dead. You see, because he didn't believe that Farad was God, to my understanding, that he would not accept Farad Muhammad as God, that the black man was God. You see? And so, for what I read, that he feared for his life. You see, after they either expelled him from the Nation of Islam or he left on his own, I don't know, however they tell the story, but he was suspiciously murdered, that his murderer, you understand what I'm saying, was never found. So all of these in quiet is kept. Wallace Dean Muhammad, who was the son of Elijah. Shit, many people said that he feared for his life because he was with Malcolm. You see, he was with Malcolm. And he had left the Nation of Islam. His father, from what he said, his father said, either you believe in God as I teach it, or you got to leave here. You see, said he wouldn't even be able to see his own mother. And he said, I can't believe that no Farad Muhammad is God. You see, and so that was what, but after the death of Malcolm X, I guess it gave him inspiration to come on back. He came on back to the Nation of Islam, you see, and from my understanding, apologized to his father on Savior's Day that year, and the year that Malcolm was killed. You see, and said that his father was right, and so on, and he eventually would lead the Nation of Islam to Wallace Dean. But if Wallace Dean Muhammad didn't come back at that time, shit, his life probably would have been on the line. You see, anybody that was connected to information that could do him damage, then your ass was, subject to come up missing. You see, your ass was subject to come up missing. So it ain't no coincidence that around your most prolific and most influential ministers and members that there would be these types of controversies. That just don't make no goddamn sense. That just don't make no goddamn sense. That and what's crazy is, and I, like I say, I'm not a promoter of Islam. You can, respect, I respect Malcolm. And Malcolm was a Muslim, and but he had the Organization of African American Unity, which discarded religion. You see, it wasn't about, even though he had his own a Muslim, whatever, his Muslim mosque incorporated with, where he dealt with, family on the religious level. He also had his political wing, which he did not, you see, engage in religion. And that's okay. That's understandable. He didn't want to have any type of, differences that would cause people to be in a disagreement, you see, about anything. So he moved it to the side. But, the thing was that, Malcolm went into Africa, which has a strong Islamic presence. And because Malcolm was leaning more towards Orthodox Islam, his acceptance, but he was also a magnificent leader. That's just all it is. And people recognize that the world over. See, Elijah didn't get that. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. He didn't get that. He didn't get that. You know why they didn't get that? Because Orthodox Muslims know and they consider the nation of Islam to be a bunch of heretics. That's really what it boiled down to. And this is not me validating Orthodox Islam. It's just me in the Islamic world which they lived in. The world Muslims do not accept the nation of Islam as Muslims. You see, their argument is that the Arab is, they ain't looking for no acceptance from the Arab. Okay, well, give up the goddamn, it's an Arab religion. Quit trying to niggerfied and shit. I understand not wanting, but that's a lie because now your niggas then started marrying white women. Your niggas is fucking with L. Ron Hubbard, and you understand what I'm saying? You doing everything that you say you wasn't gonna do. You didn't cross every every mark that you said that you would not pass. We supposed to be moving in this direction, and you niggas then went back. So don't tell me that you're not looking to appease no dusty Arab, and you over here with the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal marrying his daughters and shit, and this, that, and the third. Your sons then marry devils and shit and all this. No, we can't. No way. We not gonna allow you to think you the only one with some goddamn knowledge. No, we not. We done been raised by some of the best too. And we not gonna think you can use some divine motherfucker that came down from heaven on a hoverboard or something, floating in a cloud and shit, and that we so beneath you that we can't see what the hell we see. We know what you are. We done seen too many niggas like you. You see, no matter how good you speak. Your nature is been here before, and we recognize that. You see, and so it's a very terrible thing that this organization has a record of eating its own. You see, eating its own. Eating its own. This is your legacy. This is your legacy that you will never. I just sat back and I seen where Farrakhan was at one of the Savior's Day, and he had Khalid picture up there. And I say to myself, yeah, as hurt as Khalid was, you wouldn't even return his call. But you know what? As hurt as Khalid was, I know he was hurt. We all felt his pain. But knowing what kind of nigga you is, Farrakhan, you did Khalid a favor. You see what I'm saying? In essence, letting him go. You see, and I know Khalid been with you for so long that you was his spiritual father, and and I know it shattered his heart. To put all that work in and believe in you. And when it came to the trench, and what's so crazy about that? I look and I say to myself, he silenced Khalid Muhammad and never even tried to get him back on the battlefield. Didn't even try to get him back on the battlefield because he said something about the Jews. That's the same with Malcolm. It really wasn't about that. Khalid was fearless. He wasn't turning back. You see what I'm saying? His spirit was about what he really talked about. He was about that. He wouldn't turn back, and you wasn't really, your heart wasn't in it to go. You wanted glory. You wanted to be known. You wanted, yeah, that's what you wanted. You see, that's what you wanted. And you didn't want nothing that could destroy that. You didn't want them to rush in, because revolution sometimes cause shit to go astray. And so you didn't want that aspect of it. You wanted to be able to teach, and, in a way in which you could keep your glory, make it seem as somehow you, and the crazy thing about it, he make it seem like he was ordained or something. If you was ordained, then he wouldn't have gave the mantle to Wallace Dean Muhammad. He would have gave it to you. And if it was up to Wallace Dean Muhammad to appoint the next successor, I don't think he would have chose you. So even if the Nation of Islam would have remained, you understand what I'm saying? The one that was established by Elijah Muhammad, you may have never obtained the mantle of leadership. So Wallace Dean Muhammad did you a favor. You see what I'm saying? By dissolving the Nation of Islam, which gave you an opportunity to come up but you were not ordained by nobody. You were not ordained by nobody. And if it would have went in accordance to where Elijah Muhammad, obviously he's seen that Wallace Dean was a better fit than you. And I believe that he knew what Wallace Dean ultimately was going to do. You see what I'm saying? Because he already knew how his heart was. You understand what I'm saying? When they had conversations about Wallace Dean Muhammad, and I sat up there and listened to Farrakhan when he sat up there with Wallace Dean Muhammad. And he sat up there and saying that ultimately that Elijah was leading them to Orthodox Islam. You see what I'm saying? But he said it in a way that Black people had to come through the Nation of Islam somewhat to gain their dignity, their understanding of who they were as a people, so that when they stepped off into Orthodox Islam, that they would not be, caught up in the whirlwind of Arabism and things of that nature. And so, but he said that ultimately that's where they was going. They was going towards Orthodox Islam. That's what he said. You see, he said that Elijah Muhammad told them that the Quran was the best book into studying. You understand what I'm saying? Because this was, the recital of Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad. You see, he's named after Muhammad. That's who he's named after. Okay? And so also that's what it's about. So that's really why the Elijah nor Farrakhan really achieved what Malcolm, because Malcolm had ultimately, he had went into Orthodox Islam. Okay, he went into Orthodox Islam. You see, he went in, but I see he still, maintained his Blackness. He still maintained his Blackness. And that's, that's to be, honored in him. Because a lot, when they lose it, you see what I'm saying? They get lost in that shit, where they, but this is not for me to validate, because I wouldn't validate it no way, no how. I don't care who, you put that shit on the table and in general gonna get on it. It's gonna be a hard way out of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I leave it there. But in the respects of when you talk about Malcolm had accepted Orthodox Islam in reality. And he had accepted Orthodox Islam. And so not only was he so prolific in being prolific and being such, a charisma, having so much charisma. You see, he was able to, establish relationships with leaders all over the world that neither Elijah Muhammad nor Farrakhan could establish that type of leadership. You understand what I'm saying? You got to come up out of that. You got to come up out of that occultism that y'all in. You saying it's Islam, but really it's occultism. You see, and I'll get into that later. You see, it's occultism. And so that's the reality of where they at. You see, in today where, so much information has come out on this subject, it's no way you gonna fool nobody. There's no way you gonna fool nobody with that shit today. It's just, unless you just want to be a fool. You see, unless you just want to be a fool, then you could go on ahead and believe that. You see what I'm saying? I used to think about, when my mind became as strong as it is today. I used to think, they say, damn, that some scientists from trillions of years back blew the earth in half. And the goddamn half of it became the moon and shit. And in my scientific mind, I say to myself, goddamn. You have to understand that this is a rock. This shit got rock. You see what I'm saying? And you imagine when they drop the fucking atomic bomb and shit. They dropped the atomic bomb on goddamn Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You understand what I'm saying? And these was atomic bombs. Do you know how much goddamn fucking explosive you would need to blow the fucking earth in half? You see, to blow the earth in half. Yeah, and then you got to understand this shit is rock. You see what I'm saying? You blow this motherfucker in half, man, this shit is gonna crumble. And how in the fuck you gonna get two perfect balls and shit? You understand what I'm saying? This shit would have had to been like lava. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no way no scientist could have. That's the only way that when the shit separated, it would have had to been so hot. You see what I'm saying? And it had to still be spinning. You understand? It ain't gonna be no blowing up. And then they would have had to cool. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no blowing no rock up and you gonna get two perfect balls. So I knew right then, I was like, man, y'all gone with this goddamn nonsense. Take that shit, man, and put it back into the comic book you got it out of. Take that shit and put it back into the comic book that you got and say it reemerged. That's right. See right there. See once I give you some, and then it start. Like, wait a minute, man. Go on. So it's garbage. It's garbage. Ain't nobody going for that today. And so in me looking, back, it's very, for me, Khalid Muhammad say, and he had his suspicions. Malcolm X had his suspicions. He said that they had his name. They was trying to kill him. That's what he said. That's what he said. And then he went, and yes, he did. And he said that it was something else floating, that there was hands, that had a greater reach. You know what I'm saying? That was also trying to. So, he had, but they were openly speaking on him. And so it's not at all beyond reason. And to listen, because I heard this one speech from Farrakhan at one of their speeches, and he say, now that we got this, out the way, we can get back to business. Yeah, he said something. I'm listening to this man. I say, oh, so flagrant, man, so flagrant. So yeah, it's no doubt that they had their hand in it on the assassination attempts. I have in my mind, I have no doubt that they were most definitely accomplices. If in all three, I have no doubt that they were accomplices. You see, they're going to go down in history as accomplices just by being vocal in the way that they were. You see, so you know, we had to talk, and we talking about this today because they're emphasizing the NYPD, and we already know. I mean, goddamn, we know that. We know that. But who was the Judases? We know that the Caesar's guards showing up and all in, that's what they do. I mean, they the history is you know, they did that to every damn leader we ever had. So it's not hard for us to believe that the devil had his hand in it. We trying to see who was the Judases who opened up the back door for them to come in unnoticed, enabling, this devil to do this. There were accomplices, and we want to know who that was. You see, and we are quite clear on who that was. Family, we still here tonight. We're going to turn up. Don't you go nowhere. We're going to talk about was Malcolm X wrong about speaking against Elijah Muhammad. A lot of people bring that up, that Malcolm X should have never talked or spoke against Elijah Muhammad. I want y'all to get and hear my take on that. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. We on their ass. They know good and goddamn well that, I'm gonna ride with Malcolm and Khalid. I've not known Clarence 13X, but he was very influential in the mental awakening of a lot of our brothers and sisters also. You see, and so we don't we understand that. We understand that too. And so we want to set the record straight on, how this Nation of Islam is responsible for, the demise of some of its most prolific ministers and members. We'll be right back. Black family, hit some of them links, support the general, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast daily, liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.